Why is Airbnb better than hotels? Like, this is such a fascinating topic right now because a lot of the hotels are actually starting to panic, and I can't blame them. It is for very good reasons. If they're not panicking, then they're probably not very smart business people, because there is a shift happening in the market and it makes sense for them to recognize it, and that is exactly what we're going to be discussing in this video. Okay, so first of all, let's start with what Airbnb is, right? So Airbnb, Booking.com, Vrbo now, these are platforms that allows you to display your property, to market your property to the marketplace, just like hotels, right? And the difference between Airbnb and hotels is you can't advertise hotels on Airbnb. You can only advertise properties, right? So your own property, maybe you've got a room to rent out in your property on a short-term basis. So that means on a night-per-night basis, right? Or you've got the whole apartment to rent out on a night-per-night basis of your property. That is exactly what Airbnb is designed to do. So what are the differences between the two and which one is better, Airbnb or hotels? Well, look, let's discuss it. What does a hotel offer? Hotel offers, somewhere for you to stay if you're away, or if you're on holiday, somewhere where you can actually stay and bring family members and all of that kind of stuff. But what a hotel does is you've got a room and you've got your bathroom in there, and then it's almost like a shared facility. It's almost like living in a house of multiple occupants, but a very, very big one, right? Where some professionals or students live, where, the student might have an ensuite room, but then they've got to share the kitchen, they've got to share the living area. That's basically what a hotel is on a grander scale. Now let's think about it. The older you become and you start to have family, you start to have kids, or you want some peace and quiet, then you don't really want to live in a house of multiple occupants, right? You now want to get your own flat, you want to get your own apartment, right? And that is exactly what Airbnb is. So as opposed to having a room with a bathroom and then shared facilities, you actually have your own apartment. You've got access to absolutely everything. So in a hotel, you've got to either go down to the restaurant or go down to the bar to order your food or the drinks, or they can bring into your room, in fairness. But in a service apartment, in an Airbnb, you can just go to your Tesco's, you can go to, whatever shop it is, get some food, bring it back. They've got pots, they've got pans, they've got hobs, they've got everything. And you can just cook in there. It's a home away from home. So the first big difference between the Airbnb and the hotels is there are no restrictions. It's your property, essentially, for that period that you're paying. You don't really want to have an expense. You don't want to pay something, right? And then have all of these restrictions. It's like we're adults. So if you wanted to, take a guest back, for example, with the hotel, you either have to ask for permission, or you're just simply not allowed to do it, or you pay for a separate room for that guest if they have availability. So there's all of these restrictions. Whereas with an Airbnb, with a service accommodation, you can come and go as you please, and you can bring whoever you want back to the property. You can bring family members, friends, you can chill, you can, have food, you can order takeaways, you can drink, you can do whatever you want in that property. It is literally your property while you are there, which is absolutely incredible. So that's the first difference. The second difference is with the Airbnb, they're actually more cost effective. And this is why families and corporates are absolutely now flocking towards this model. This happened during COVID. A lot of people realized, well, actually, I don't want to be in a hotel. And this happened to people from two different spectrums of the argument. So some people didn't want to be in a hotel because, quite simply, they thought there are too many restrictions. This is ridiculous. I want my own freedom. I don't want to pay to have restrictions. So what they did is they looked for alternatives, and they found Airbnbs and Booking.coms, and then they went to book their own apartments. On the other side of the argument, they felt it was ridiculous. They didn't want to be in the hotels because they felt there wasn't enough restrictions and everyone should probably be locked up in their own room. So they said, well, I'm not going to go there. So I'm also going to look for somewhere else where me and my family can go. And, we're not having to mix with all these crazy people that want to be out there, right? So they also booked service apartments as well. And the interesting thing is both of these people had a taste, and what they saw, they liked it. They now realized, well, actually, this is great. We really get to do things for ourselves. But more than that, they realized how cost effective it was. Because now, instead of having to book 2, 3, 4, 5 different rooms for the family members, they were all able to stay in one property as a family, which is a new experience, and people loved it. And then from the corporate standpoint, so when you're bringing members of staff in to go to a particular location, you want them all in one place, having cohesive conversations, which means when they go to the workplace and they're all coming back, they're all still in the same place, so they're still exchanging ideas, and it becomes more of a productive environment. But more than that, for the corporates, it works out to be cheaper for them. Right? At the end of the day, instead of them booking 5 different hotel rooms, they're just booking one apartment, and all of the team members can actually stay there, which actually also gives the team members a better feeling. They feel like they're being looked after. Look what our company's done. They've put us in an apartment. This is really nice. So it ticks all of the boxes for the corporates as well. And that is really the second major difference. And then the third one, just like I mentioned, is it brings people together. So if you are doing a family reunion, for example, you got families coming in from Scotland, from Wales, or from America, from Germany, wherever they might be coming from, and you guys are meeting in one location. Now, once again, instead of booking all of these different locations, different rooms, you can just book one apartment, and then you could all stay in there. And the beauty about service accommodation is you can have 2 beds, 3 beds, 4 beds, 5 beds, 6 beds, right? So you can book a big enough one that's going to contain your family, but it's like a big family reunion, big family Christmas, when you go to like your uncle and your auntie's house that's got a big house, and everyone's got their own different rooms, and you're all in the same place together. You can have that feeling in a service apartment, and you really cannot have that in a hotel. So these are the major differences. This is why, for me, Airbnb is better than hotel. And it's not just me. The market is speaking. The Airbnb's market cap has just continued to grow over the last couple of years because more and more people have been coming onto the platforms. And the reality of what happened is, the more people saw this and people were putting their properties on there, they were saying to people, hey, my property keeps getting booked out. Right? So more and more people started looking at it and seeing it as a way to make more money. So they also started putting their properties on there. So this is a massive, massive bonus point for you. Massive bonus point. Why is Airbnb better than hotels? Because it is a very, very low barrier of entry when it comes to investment. If you want to start a hotel today, how many rooms are you going to start with? How deep are your pockets? Right? Whereas with a service accommodation, with an Airbnb, you only need to own a property, you only need to own a flat, a house, and you don't even need to own it. There are strategies now where you can actually rent properties from landlords, and then you can put them on Airbnb, and you get to benefit from the difference between what you rent the property from and what you're able to achieve on the open market Airbnb. Of course, you have to get, the right legal paperwork and the right legal documentation to make sure you're doing that correctly. So that's one way. Another way is to just approach landlords and say, hey, did you know you can generate more money from your property? Here's how you can do it. I know you don't understand how it works, but I can actually manage that for you. And you just get the money coming in and you pay me a fee to manage it. So there's a real low barrier of entry to actually come into this industry and start generating an income for yourself. So look, hopefully that answers that question for you. If you have enjoyed this video and you've got some value from it, then make sure you like, comment, let me know what your thoughts are. Which one do you think is better? Are you still sticking to the hotels, or are you starting to think, actually this Airbnb stuff is starting to make a lot of sense? You let me know in the comment section below, and do not forget to subscribe so we can get this information, this knowledge out to as many people as possible. And I will see you all on the next video.